Hello, Sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Sports 101. I'm Scott Rella. We're going to talk Browns and we'll talk Cavs, talk about the NFL coaching search, and we'll talk about the national championship game that the Indiana Hoosiers won last night. We'll go over the last week's games. We'll get to all that, but first, here's today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. And it is an NFL trivia question. Who has thrown for the most passing yards of all time? I will have the answer later in the podcast. Well, the Cleveland Browns head coaching search is seemingly nowhere near being over, and the NFL rules prohibit in person interviews with any coach employed by any team besides their own until Monday, this past Monday, January 19th, yesterday. Second in-person interviews cannot be completed uh, until a week later. Unemployed coaches can interview immediately, including Mike McDaniel. And the Browns have put in an interview request and interviewed a wide swath of candidates, including a number of very young coaches like Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman Grant Ulinski and Los Angeles Rams passing game coordinator Nate Sheehouse. Uh, and given the prolonged interview schedule, the NFL has set out getting a variety of candidates for interviews. Makes a lot of sense, according to Mary Kay Cabot. That includes Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula, the grandson of the late Miami Dolphins coach Don Shula. Uh, uh, Shula in his ninth season with Los Angeles, uh, and as their defensive coordinator prior to his time with the Rams. Shula spent a season at John Carroll University and 3 years at Indiana University. His first coaching experience came at Ball State in 2010 after he played linebacker at Miami of Ohio from 2004 to 2008. Uh, and 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 Shula is the son, as I mentioned, Shula is the son of David Shula, former head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, and from 1992 to 1996, and the grandson, as I mentioned, of Hall of Fame coach Don Shula, the late Don Shula. Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz will get a second head coach interview with the team on Monday, which was yesterday. He got that. A league source told Cleveland.com he was their second interview for the job on January 8th, right after Browns offensive coordinator Tommy Rees, who is not expected to interview a second time for the position, a source told Cleveland.com. Rams Rees 33, excuse me, also had has a chance to join Kevin Stefanski if he gets another head coaching job or join another new head coach. It remains to be seen if he'd want to remain here as a coordinator if he's passed over for the head coach job and Schwartz gets it. Schwartz 59 also interviewed for the Ravens head coach vacancy on Wednesday. The Browns are expected to interview other candidates a second time this week. Now, as I mentioned, and I should mention this, that Kevin Stefanski, the Miami Dolphins have hired Kevin Stefanski as their new head coach. Uh, and so and Jim Schwartz, as I mentioned, had his second interview yesterday. Uh, the Browns have stated emphatically that they want defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz to remain with the team, either as head coach or a coordinator, as and the second interview with him on Monday undoubtedly went a long way towards sorting that out. They kicked off their slate of second interviews this week with Schwartz, 59, who was the second candidate to interview overall when he talked to the Browns on January 8th after that's him, offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. He completed an interview Monday without being hired as a head coach, but that was to be expected. The Browns also have second interviews scheduled this week with Rams offensive coordinator Todd Monken on Tuesday. That was today. Former Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel on Wednesday, and Jaguars offensive coordinator Grant Udinski possibly also on Wednesday. That is tomorrow. They plan to interview Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter a second time this week, the first time in person, but they must wait until next Monday to talk to Rams passing game coordinator Nate Schilhass a second time after the Rams face the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game on Sunday. The Browns also have yet to satisfy the Rooney Rule, which stipulates that they must interview two external candidates, either a minority or a woman in person, before making that hire. McDaniel will count as one on Wednesday. If the Browns really like Schilhass and he goes to the Super Bowl on February 8th, they'll have to wait until afterward to hire him. But sometimes a coach is worth the wait, and Schilhass might fall in to that category. He's also interviewing with the Steelers, Raiders for their head coach vacancies. The Browns like that Schilhass, who has gotten an NFL MVP season out of Matthew Stafford. Stafford has extensive experience playing quarterback. Schilhass has started 4 seasons at Illinois from 2010 to 2013, and in that span, he threw for 8,568 yards and 55 touchdowns, and he ran for 2,066 yards and 19 more scores. He became one of just 2 players in the Big Ten history to total over 8,000 passing yards and 2,000 rushing yards in his collegiate career. The Browns also like Udinski, who has worked under Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell and Jaguars coach Lyman Cohen, and also hails from the forward-thinking Sean McVay tree. Udinski just turned 30 on January 12th and would like to be the youngest coach hired in the NFL if the Browns make him their 19th head coach. But they're also very big on McDaniel and Monken, who bring vast experience and a play calling pedigree. A part of Schwartz's interview on Monday was to help determine how he might fit with the other candidates as a defensive coordinator if he doesn't get promoted, uh, the Browns would love Schwartz 59 to return for a fourth season as coordinator if they hire someone else to replace Kevin Stefanski and keep their dominant defense humming along. Now, in his 3 seasons here, the Browns rank first in a number of key defensive categories, including total yards per game, passing yards per game, first downs allowed, third down percentage, fourth down percentage, first downs per pass attempt, and most tackles for a loss. They also rank third in sacks in that span and are tied for second with 8 defensive scores. Now, in 2025, Schwartz, the 2023 Associated Press NFL Assistant Coach of the Year, led a defense that finished number 4 in total yards allowed and number 3 against the pass rush. It also finished third in the NFL with 53 sacks, led by Myles Garrett's NFL record 23 and 0, breaking the single season sack record. The Browns also have gone 45 straight games without allowing 300-yard passer, the longest active streak in the NFL, and longest streak by an NFL team since the Colts went 52 games from 2005 to 2008. If Schwartz gets the job, it would mark the first time in the head coach chair since he coached the Lions from 2009 to 2013, going 25 and 51 and 0 and 1 in the playoffs. But he took over an 0 and 16 team and coached it to a 10 and 6 record and playoff berth in 2011, Detroit's first postseason appearance since 1999. The Lions also led the NFL and set a franchise record with 7 returns for TDs on 5 interceptions and 2 fumbles that year. Schwartz's career with the Browns has come full circle, having started here in 1993 as an unpaid scout under Bill Belichick. He broke into the coaching on the defensive side when the Browns moved to Baltimore in 96, and his 29 years NFL coaching experience includes 17 as a defensive coordinator with the Titans, Bills, and Eagles, helping Philadelphia win Super Bowl 52, I believe. Yes. Ideally, the Browns would probably love to pair him with one of the youngest candidates and perhaps give him the added title assistant head coach. It remains to be seen if the new coach would be up for that. He's also apparently still very much in the mix for the promotion. Uh, uh, now, here's another story you're going to want to know about. Chad O'Shea joins the Chiefs. Chad O'Shea, who coached the Browns receivers for 6 years, joined the Chiefs Monday in that capacity. It was a challenging year for the Browns receivers because of injuries and the breaking in of rookie quarterbacks Sterling Gabriel and Shador Sanders. Jerry Jeudy, a 2025 Pro Bowler who produced his first 1,000-yard season last year, caught only 50, tied for 64th in the NFL of 106 targets for 602 yards, 61st and 2 TDs. Number 2 receiver Cedric Tillman missed time with a concussion and never established rhythm with Sanders. In Kansas City, O'Shea returns to the place where he got his start in the NFL as an assistant from 2003 to 2005. After a stint with the Vikings, he went on to win 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots. In Kansas City, he'll have a chance to get back to the Super Bowl once Patrick Mahomes returns from his ACL. His departure makes a dismantling of the offensive staff put in place by Stefanski, who's expected to take Reeves to Atlanta, likely as his offensive coordinator. So that's pretty much an update. Uh, and I'm not too sure about Mike McDaniel as the Browns' next head coach, but if they would hire Jim Schwartz as their new head coach, I would like to see Mike McDaniel as the defensive coordinator, and uh, and I really and I feel that'd be a good fit. But you might have heard that Bills head coach Sean McDermott was fired after that loss against Denver last Saturday. And the big question is, should the Browns hire Sean McDermott as their new head coach? But that still remains to be seen. That's a big question. That might not be a bad idea. I'll keep you posted. We'll talk about the scores in just a moment. We'll get to my picks that I took. But right now, it's time to reveal the answers to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. It's an NFL trivia question. Who has thrown for the most passing yards of all time? And if you said Tom Brady, you are correct. Tom Brady with 89,214 career passing yards for the most passing yards of all time. I have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. Well, we had an interesting week of football in the divisional round of the playoffs. And we'll go back to the ones on Saturday. The Denver Broncos beat the Buffalo Bills in overtime, 33-30. And boy, this one was really close. I thought Buffalo would get it, but I took Buffalo and lost. My brother-in-law lost all four of these games, so he went 0-4. Uh, and uh, and this was the Broncos' biggest win in a decade from Josh Allen and the Bills, and they just could not. The Bills could not get over that hurdle to get it, and I thought they were going to get it on the road, but I give the game balls to Bo Mix and Marvin Mims. I give them to them, and this was just really one of those games where it could have gone either way, and it got sent into overtime, but I took Buffalo and I lost, and boy, San Francisco just was held to just two field goals as they get walloped by the Seattle Seahawks, 41-6. And boy, this was quite a blowout. This game. This was not. This game was over even before it started. And boy, this was Richard Sherman and Ken Chandler's and Doug Baldwin's hyped up the famed 12th man. I think it was rotation, I believe. Hype up uh, uh, the 12-man crowd in Seattle, providing a throwback for the Seahawks' fearsome Legion of Boom teams from the 2010s. But they advanced 40 with a 41-6 win. But the 49ers, they had injuries and they just could not get anything going their way. And they had too many turnovers. They turned the ball over on downs, and it just did not go their way. I took the Seahawks and won, and my brother-in-law lost. I told you he lost all four, and I give the game balls to Sam Darnold. Cooper Kupp. He's now with the Seahawks, and Kenneth Walker the third. I give them to you guys. Well, for the Houston Texans, their season has come to an end with a 28-16 loss as the Patriots move on to the AFC Championship, and I took Houston and I lost, and told my brother-in-law, he lost all four. I told you that, and Mike Vrabel returned to New England on a mission to have the franchise, uh, to have the franchise mm, playing again in a meaningful games in January, and he did so often as a player. And boy, he threw three DT passes, started had three interceptions. As the Patriots, they topped him 28-16, and the Texans, they had opportunities and they just could not do anything right and could not get it together. But they were held to just uh, a field goal and two touchdowns. And I give the game balls to Drake May, uh, Rhea, uh, uh, Ramondre Stevenson, and Keyshawn Bowdle. And I lost on that one because I took Houston. You already know my brother-in-law lost. He lost all four of them. And the LA Rams in overtime. It went in overtime, and they managed to win, kick a field goal, game-winning field goal, and win to beat the Chicago Bears and bring their season to an end, 20-17 in overtime. Boy, this was just ending the Bears' magical season. It was just a magical season for them, but they'll be back in the playoffs. And but the Rams move on. I give the game balls to Matthew Stafford, Kyron Williams. I give them to them, and Puka Nikua. And boy, this was just the Rams just survived this one, and this was close throughout the game, but I won on that one, so I was 2-2 on my picks. My brother-in-law Eric Hoy was 0-4. So and I went to 7-10-3. My brother-in-law fell to also 7-10-3. So, and that means the AFC and NFC championship games are set. It is in the AFC championship game, it's the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots in that one, and that will be at 3 o'clock on CBS. And the Rams and the Seahawks at Lumen Field, and the Patriots Denver game, it's in Denver. And the Rams in Seattle, they're playing at Lumen Field in Seattle in the NFC Championship. That'll be at 6:30 on Fox. So, and the Cavs, they will be back in action tomorrow night after that loss to Oklahoma City yesterday afternoon. And it was just on Martin Luther King Day. They will be back in action tomorrow as they take on the Charlotte Hornets in Charlotte, which will be at Spectrum Center in Charlotte. And hopefully the Cavs can bounce back from that 136-104 loss. So the Cavs just, not good yesterday. And despite that we had six Cavs players in double figures, they just could not get it going. And they never let in that one. So, but they'll be back in action tomorrow night. And Donovan Mitchell, I think quietly admits that the Cavaliers cost him a major NBA honor. And the NBA announced the All-Stars. The All-Star starters would be on Monday who they would be on Monday afternoon. Who was an honor Donovan Mitchell already knew would pass him by. But when the snub happened, the reaction over here at King James Gospel had to do with the Cleveland Cavaliers' struggles preventing Mitchell from getting a spot in the starting lineup despite a career year. The six-time All-Star was not too far off from making that line of thinking himself. And to be honest, I kind of expected that. Mitchell said the guys that were named record is better than ours, so naturally, you reward that, and I want to be a starter for sure. But you understand that at the end of the day, if we win games, everybody gets rewarded. So, and this will close off by saying the Cavaliers have not won contests at the rate they would like to. That's what ultimately comes first at the end of the day when the Cavs guard did not uh, hear anything about his selection during the game. He knew what his fate was in relation to the All Star game. So hopefully we'll have a few Cavs players in it. We'll have to wait and see, but I will keep you posted. But now I want to talk about last night's national championship game as the Indiana Hoosiers beat the Miami Hurricanes by a touchdown, 21-27 at it was at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and it was 3-0 Indiana at the end of the first quarter, and then it was 10-0 at halftime. But then Miami came back, and it was 10-7, and that was 17-7. The Indiana scored again, and then they scored one touchdown. It was 17-14, and then Indiana came back and scored another touchdown, and then it was 21-14, and then they really sealed it up with another Indiana sealed it up another touchdown, 27 to and then made it 27-21, and this is Indiana's first championship in their school's history, and this really they really deserve it, and I congratulate them, the Indiana Hoosiers, the 2025-2026 national championships. They really deserve it. They played well in this game last night, and they really achieved a historic championship. It's their very first one in their school's history, and celebrated by emotional players, coaches, and fans, and making it a new era. And boy, this was just one that will never be forgotten. I don't think it's going to be forgotten, this game. So congratulations, Indiana. The 2025-2026 uh, and national champions. So I do not have time for one of my new wrinkles. I am out of time, so I'll get one on my next podcast. That's just about gonna wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. And I'll be back this week and or next week with another one of my podcasts. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.